Music has the power to change the world, and some moments in music history have done exactly that. From a young man shaking his hips on live television to the birth of a genre that would dominate decades, we're diving into the pivotal moments that transformed modern music forever. Whether you're a casual listener or a devoted music historian, you'll recognize the cultural earthquakes we're about to explore. Let's turn up the volume and travel through time. In 1954, Elvis Presley walked into Sun Studio in Memphis with his mother, paying $4 to record a song for her. Nobody knew that this shy truck driver would become the spark that ignited rock and roll. His first single, That's All Right, fused country, blues, and gospel in ways that had never been heard before. Radio stations didn't know which format to play it on. Was it country? Was it R&B? That confusion was revolutionary. By 1956, when Elvis performed Hound Dog on the Milton Berle Show, his hip movements caused such outrage that cameras refused to show him below the waist. Parents were horrified. Teenagers were electrified. Elvis proved that music could be dangerous, exciting, and utterly transformative. Fast forward to February 1964. The Beatles arrived at JFK Airport in New York, and pandemonium erupted. Over 3,000 screaming fans mobbed the airport. But this wasn't just about four British boys with mop-top haircuts, it was a cultural invasion. The Beatles didn't just play music, they represented a new generation's voice. When they performed on Ed Sullivan with 73 million viewers watching, the moment became the most watched television event in American history. What made the Beatles different was their evolution. They went from catchy pop songs to experimental studio techniques, from mop-tops to psychedelia. They showed that rock music could be art, could be experimental, and could appeal to both teenagers and intellectuals. But while the Beatles were conquering the world, something equally seismic was happening in America's soul music scene. In 1965, Aretha Franklin recorded I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You at Fame Studios in Alabama. Her powerful, uncompromising vocal delivery and the raw emotion she poured into every note redefined what a lead singer could be. Aretha didn't just sing, she commanded the studio and owned the song completely. This wasn't polished pop. This was authentic, gospel-rooted soul music. She became the queen of soul, and her influence stretched far beyond music. Aretha's refusal to be confined by expectations helped pave the way for female artists to be seen as serious musicians and powerful forces in the industry. In 1967, at the Monterey Pop Festival, Jimi Hendrix took the stage with his Fender Stratocaster and rewrote the rulebook for electric guitar. He played the national anthem like it had never been played before, distorted, wailing, absolutely visceral. Hendrix didn't just play notes, he made the guitar sing in ways that seemed impossible. He used feedback, distortion, and unconventional techniques that inspired countless musicians to experiment with their instruments. Hendrix proved that rock music could be technically sophisticated, artistically ambitious, and utterly transcendent. His influence on guitar music cannot be overstated. He essentially invented the modern electric guitar vocabulary that musicians still use today. The late 1960s and early 1970s saw the rise of funk and its most influential architect, James Brown. In 1967, James Brown released Cold Sweat, a track that would become the blueprint for everything that followed. With its heavy emphasis on the downbeat, its complex rhythms, and its focus on the groove itself rather than melodic content, funk represented a fundamental shift in how musicians thought about rhythm. James Brown didn't just make music, he made people move. His live performances were legendary, acrobatic, energetic, and absolutely infectious. Brown's influence spread into hip-hop, electronic music, and contemporary R&B. When you hear modern producers sampling the funk breaks of the 1970s, they're paying homage to James Brown's revolutionary approach to rhythm. While funk was taking over the dance floors, punk rock exploded in 1976 with the Sex Pistols' Anarchy in the UK. Punk rejected everything that rock music had become technically proficient, commercially polished, and safe. Punk said, "We don't care if we can't play our instruments. We don't care about perfect production. What matters is raw energy, attitude, and a message." The Sex Pistols, the Ramones, and the Clash stripped rock back to its essentials and gave it an angry, anarchic edge. Punk's DIY ethos: anyone could start a band, anyone could express themselves, democratized music creation. Punk rockers proved you didn't need a record label or technical training to be heard. You just needed passion. This ethos would eventually influence the hip-hop and grunge movements. While punk was a reaction against everything, hip-hop was a creation from nothing. In the Bronx in 1973, DJ Kool Herc strapped a turntable to a generator and pioneered the concept of looping, repeating the instrumental break section of songs over and over again. This wasn't an accidental discovery, it was a deliberate innovation in music production that would define a generation. Herc created the merry-go-round parties where the break became the focal point, and dancers, now called b-boys, would battle during these sections. The combination of DJing, emceeing, breaking, and graffiti would become the four pillars of hip-hop culture. What started at a neighborhood party in the Bronx would eventually become a global phenomenon that would dominate modern music. By the 1980s, hip-hop was evolving rapidly, but the moment that truly brought it to mainstream consciousness was 1986, when Run DMC released Walk This Way with Aerosmith. This wasn't a remix of an existing Aerosmith track, this was a genuine collaboration between a rock legend and a hip-hop innovator. The song bridged two worlds that most people thought were incompatible. Run DMC proved that hip-hop artists deserved seats at the table alongside rock musicians. They weren't opening acts, they were equals. This single moment helped hip-hop transition from underground movement to mainstream phenomenon. The music video, with both bands on the same stage, became an iconic image of musical unity. The late 1980s and early 1990s marked hip-hop's golden age. In 1988, Rakim and Eric B. released Follow the Leader, which elevated emceeing to an art form. Rakim's internal rhyme schemes, his rhythmic complexity, and his ability to weave meaningful narratives into his verses proved that hip-hop was serious music with serious artistic ambition. Around the same time, Public Enemy, with producer Hank Shockley and Chuck D, created politically charged, sonically innovative hip-hop that addressed systemic racism and social injustice. These artists proved that hip-hop could be intellectually sophisticated, musically innovative, and socially conscious all at once. The golden age of hip-hop from roughly 1986 to 1996 saw the genre achieve artistic heights that influenced everything that came after. But perhaps the single most important moment in hip-hop's rise came in 1994 when the notorious B.I.G. released Ready to Die. The album showcased not just technical rap skills, but storytelling, emotional depth, and production that rivaled anything in popular music. Biggie's album proved that a hip-hop artist could achieve mainstream commercial success while maintaining artistic credibility. It wasn't a compromise between two worlds, it was the full integration of hip-hop into the mainstream music industry. By the mid-1990s, hip-hop had become the dominant force in popular music, and it hasn't relinquished that position since. What started in the Bronx in 1973 had become the soundtrack to global culture. These 10 moments represent more than just hit songs or iconic performances, they represent the birth of entire genres, the elevation of music as art, and the democratization of musical expression. From Elvis challenging social norms to hip-hop claiming its place as the dominant force in global music, each moment built upon the last, creating the diverse musical landscape we enjoy today. Music continues to evolve, and somewhere right now, the next revolutionary moment is probably happening in someone's bedroom or garage. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video like this one.